Welcome to 300 Yards to Unknown. I'm Rick Gehman. That right there is Eric Patterson. What up, E-Pat?
What's going on, Rick? It's been a while since we've talked. A lot has happened since the last time we got together. So got a lot, probably a few too many storylines to break down in 30 minutes, but I'm sure we'll touch on a lot of stuff.
Yeah, it is. So we had a week where I didn't have internet for a couple days, so we couldn't connect then. And then the last week,
I had shoddy internet.
the lost episode where we recorded and never released it. So fingers crossed that this one here gets out to the general public.
People got to hear our takes. They've been dying for them.
That's right. Well, let's jump into this. Coming off the first major of the season, that PGA Championship was, quite frankly, EPAT, exactly what we deserved in 2020 to have, what, 8-9 different guys touch the lead at some point on Sunday, have there be iconic shots from Colin Morikawa, like have this young stud just emerge onto the major scene. Like that was everything.
Yeah, it was a fun week from start to finish. Definitely something we've been clamoring for this type of action. It was fun that it was a packed leaderboard, but obviously Morikawa eventually separated himself from the pack. But like start to finish, like how long ago does it feel like Bryson broke his driver? Remember when that happened?
Wow. Yeah. What day was that? Thursday or
I think
Friday?
it was Thursday or Friday, but like so much happened since, and just the weekend was a blast. So many big names. Morikawa though, like you can't say enough good things about him, about his future. He's now getting drawn comparisons to, like, now he's in the conversation. It was the conversation about him versus Wolf, him versus Hovland. Now it's like him JT, him John Rahm, which is pretty elite company to be in at only 23 years old.
I mean, the historical context of what he has done in, I don't know, 30, 31 professional starts, whatever it has been, is really it's like second to Tiger or third to Tiger and Jack. I mean, it is really unbelievable what he's been able to accomplish and the way he did it, right? I mean, he chips in on, I guess it had to be like 14. Yeah. And then he hits the shot of his life, the shot of the year, where he pulls driver on 16, hits it to 7 feet, and oh, by the way, just rolls in the eagle putt.
Yeah, like if he didn't make that eagle putt, he had a similar shot at, I don't know if it was I guess it was the workday in that final group with JT and Hovland. He didn't make the eagle putt, so that shot wasn't as remembered, but you got to finish the job. And he even said that in a post-round interview. He just said, like, I obviously hit that great shot, but if I don't make that eagle putt, then a one-shot lead is so much different than a two-shot lead with a couple holes remaining. So he knew how big that putt was. And man, his putting, like, I couldn't believe how many putts he was dropping. Even early in the round, he was making par putts to keep himself afloat, that he typically doesn't make or hasn't made in his short career. So if he putts like he did, I don't know, once a month, he's going to be winning like at a very high clip.
Yeah, I have it here. I mean, he led the field in strokes gained putting. He was 8th in putting average. I mean, 3 putt avoid. I mean, like every putting stat that you want to roll through at the PGA Championship, Morikawa did it. And I don't have the number in front of me, but I looked this up. He really only needs to gain like 2 strokes putting in an event, which for him is a lot considering he's a below average putter. But like, of the 6 times he's gained at least 2 strokes, he's won like half of them. Like the rest of his game is so strong. If he just is an above average putter, and you don't even have to go nuclear like he did at the PGA Championship, he's going to win a lot of golf tournaments.
I mean, what were his odds to be? What would his odds have been to lead the field in strokes gained putting? Like after his performances everyone remembers that Charles Schwab putt, and maybe that's unfair to like kind of criticize him just based on like one missed 3-footer. But even like there was guys tweeting out because he missed like a 2 or 3-footer early in the week, so it wasn't all, it wasn't perfect, but I mean he put it together on the weekend. It was a force to be reckoned with if he's putting like that and the short game comes around, because like his approach game wasn't even up to par or what we've seen him so far. So it's a pretty impressive win. I mean, I can't remember the last time, so I guess it would have been Spieth when he was 21 or Rory back in like 2012. So these that's the category he's in right now.
The putt that he made the putt on 18 at Workday to get into a playoff with JT was like 2.5 feet, and he like
You know?
barely snuck it in the side corner.
Yeah,
Like, so there.
he's learning from like everything that he's done though, which I find like very. I mean, that's what the greats do, right? Like he lost to Daniel Berger at Colonial in a playoff. He comes out and wins in his next playoff, and now he's like his. I don't know if there was a clip of him. I guess it was after he won. He just talked about like, this is my time. Something special is going to happen, and he was standing on the 16th tee, and he's like, "Why not me?" And it's just like, man, this guy, he has no fear at 23, battling DJ and some of those other big names at the top. Just has that winning mentality. Like he knows how good he is, and he knows he is special, and he can pull off those types of shots. So it's yeah, he's quickly becoming a favorite of mine. I mean, it's not a popular thing, but it's a popular thing. I'm just like, there's so much to like about him and his game and his attitude.
Yeah, he is definitely much more mature for 23 years old than you would think. He's got everything. Brooks Koepka, after talking smack after Saturday's round, trying to get into the mind of Dustin Johnson, which I will tell you, that's a fool's errand. You should not try. Like DJ doesn't care if you poke him. Goes out and shoots the second worst score of the day. Not necessarily great to be talking smack and not be able to back it up.
It was a tough look. Who had the worst round of the day? Do you know?
Jim Herman shot a 75.
Jimmy Herman and Brooks Koepka, a couple heavy hitters. Yeah, I don't understand why Brooks had to take the swings there. He just say you're in a good position, you like where you're sitting, you're only a couple shots back, and you think you can pull it off. You don't have to start going after DJ. Maybe like I know that the relationship or the friendship that DJ and him had, I guess, is a little more media created than in real life. But I mean, you didn't really need to go take those types of shots, because if he just stayed silent, it would have been a lot. Maybe he put himself out there. He made himself vulnerable to this type of criticism, and it backfired in a big way.
It certainly did, and I think it's interesting, right? Like, I think this could have worked if it was Bryson. I think if you get into Bryson's head, it's over, right? Like he's kind of. I think you can do that. Like, we know that DJ heard what he said because it was kind of referenced, but like I don't think DJ cares. So I don't know why all the effort went into it. Where there was like 3 different occasions in 3 different interviews, he said like something that was clearly aimed at DJ, but like. Dustin Johnson doesn't care. I feel like it was just a lot of work for not a lot of result.
It's true. He was, because they do a few interviews after the round, I guess. They do like CBS, and then they'll talk to like the media center guys. And he said the same thing pretty much verbatim in both of them. So it's like, it wasn't just like an off the cuff remark. Like he was hammering it home. And yeah, Rory alluded to this. He's like, I don't think DJ gives a shit about anything that anyone's saying about him. Like he just, nothing bothers DJ. So that was just a very weird swing. But I mean, interesting from a drama perspective going forward. And everyone was like, you guys, the Americans, they wonder why they're struggling to win Ryder Cups. And this is like kind of how your team is treating each other. And, Bryson versus Brooks, Bryson versus DJ, Reed in this mix. Like, I don't know, not a lot of not a friendly group. It doesn't sound like.
No, there's not a lot of cohesion on the American squad right now. Yeah, I thought it was interesting that Rory came to the defense of DJ and was like, "Oh yeah, he has like 3 times as many wins as you do, Brooks. Like, I'm pretty sure this is not the guy to be barking up the tree with." So I thought that was interesting. I also think it's interesting. This is a completely different topic, but it came out. I think it was during this media. During like Thursday media or maybe on Wednesday, someone asked Rory when the last time he paid for golf was. And he said it was what, 2000, like 2000, it was like 10 years ago or 15 years ago or something, right?
Yeah, Valderrama, I forget the year, he paid like €200, which seems like a lot. I don't know why they wouldn't have let him on. I think I want to say 2007, but that seems like way too long ago. It might have been, it was probably like 2011.
I thought it was 2005, but that would have been even longer ago. So
yeah, I see. But he was such a big deal in Europe back then. Like he could have just kind of walked up to any course, #1 amateur in the world, let me in. So I'm sure it would have worked. But yeah, it is weird to think about these guys just playing like $500 course after $500 course and getting paid to do it. Pretty good gig.
Here you go. Valderrama 2005. So Rory was a 16-year-old amateur and still 4 years away from his first professional win. Now, if you want to play Valderrama now, it is 400 euros, which is 471 USD. I don't know what that is in Canadian,
Oh,
Pat. How's the exchange rate these
that's
days?
probably four figures.
There you go.
That's a pretty penny. Yeah.
That's a pretty penny. Okay, which only then makes me wonder has Tiger Woods ever paid for a round of golf himself? And the argument would be this: his dad probably paid every round up to the point where he was like when he was what 15. I don't know what like everyone knew who he was. Like there is a chance Tiger Woods has never ever paid for a round of golf.
So yeah, I'm actually reading that Tiger Woods book, and it sounds like his dad like kind of hustles the head pro, kind of puts him. He was putting like Tiger. He'd go to like the range or let him hit balls and like kind of promote his son. Like, watch this. Let my kid play here for free, and like we'll draw attention to your course type thing. So it sounded like Tiger was getting into courses or getting lessons from pros at like free at the age of like 5. So I would be interested. I'm wondering if Tiger pays like membership dues and stuff like that. I don't know what his deal is at like the Floridian or what was that course they played for the match? Drawing a blank, but like, does he
Medalist.
the medalist? So yeah, like, is he paying his membership dues? I don't know if he has to do that or not.
Yeah, I don't know if there's
No
some
idea.
arrangement where it's like, hey, maybe you just pay like this one-time thing and we'll like add these teas for you, or like I don't know. I can't imagine they're tracking.
You just think about it. Tiger, you just give him like 10 million. It's like nothing, and he's good for life. Build me a course, like endless money.
I'm pretty sure it was Medalist where they were like Phil. It was somewhere, but there was like Phil is not a member here, but like they're
Right.
working out the details.
Right.
I'm like, what details have to be worked out? Like he has the money. If you're going to charge him, also if you're not going to charge him, what are we even like? What are the details that need to be worked out?
That's Michael Jordan's course, the Grove, 23, I think it is. But yeah, like Phil Mickelson places a call to be a member. Okay, you're in. I don't know what the details are. Maybe a couple credit card transfers or whatever. But yeah, it should be pretty easy to get Mickelson and Tiger into any club they want.
Do they need a current member to vouch for them? Like what are we talking about here? So good. How about this, Pat? We rail on golf coverage all the time, and I still believe it is not great by any stretch of the imagination. But I want to tell you, the report came out for the shot chart on CBS on Sunday, and they showed 1.69 shots per minute, which doesn't sound like a lot. I will tell you that just looking at the number. But I will also say that is the most of any major since this guy started tracking it 6 years ago. And the previous high was the 2017 Masters. So I don't know what to take from this, whether this is great that we saw more shots than we've ever seen in a final round of a major, or if this is still not good enough.
When you say 1.69 shot, like I would like to know how many shots they're showing when the coverage is on. Like 1.69 shots per minute sounds like nothing. Like what is that? 3 shots per 2 minutes, pretty much. Like you sit there for 2 minutes and you only see 3 shots. That doesn't seem like a lot. But when the coverage is actually rolling, you're obviously seeing a lot more action. And I think this is probably a byproduct of the fact that there were so many guys in the mix that they had to show more shots, probably more shots that are like delayed or tape delayed or whatever they do, which a lot of people were kind of barking about because I think Bryson Finau, like they'll show Bryson's shot quote unquote live, and then it'll land in the fairway and there's Finau's ball sitting there. And then they cut back to Finau. Here's Finau's drive. It's like, all right, we just saw this ball in the middle of the fairway. Or just show them in order. But yeah, that was my little rant there. It's good to see that they're improving. I think it still doesn't seem like a lot of shots, but it's the best since this guy's recording the data. I guess that's a step in the right direction.
I do think that it has a lot to do with 8 guys who were basically touching the lead, and they had to show all of these guys because if it was only 1 or 2 guys in contention, the storyline would focus around them, and you'd see them talk to their caddy more, and you'd see them walking off the tee and walking around the green and all that stuff. And I don't think that like you cannot show every shot live. Like there are
Impossible.
16 guys in 8 groups or whatever that are all hitting the
Impossible.
ball at the same time. There's no way you're getting live shots. So you're going to get this happened a moment ago. It sucks. I hate it. It's terrible, but there's no other way around it because guys are playing at the same time. The thing that I thought was most interesting and my biggest peeve about this EPAT is when they do the split screen. When they go to commercial and show the eye on the course, I hate that. And I
Tune
think it is like
tune out.
a crutch to now you can show more commercials because you're like, oh, we're still showing you coverage. Isn't this good? So I was interested that, and this guy broke it down. So they showed 496 shots on the coverage. 33 of them came from the split screen, which I think if you would have had me guess that, I would have thought it would have been a lot more than what is that 5% of them or something like that. I hate that. I wish we could get, I guess it's better than not seeing it. I just feel like we go to commercial so much more because we have the opportunity to show golf at the same time.
Yeah, it's like when the commercial comes on, I just kind of tune out. Like that just I'm naturally that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna look away. I'm gonna look at my computer or whatever, go to my phone, check shot tracker. So it's just I probably missed those shots to begin with. Um but like so I had a bit of an issue at the end of the coverage. Um so we didn't see DJ's drive on 16, which he airmailed the green, took a penalty, then he chipped in. Like I know obviously Morikawa was leading or he's up by 2, but the only guy that had a chance to track him down was DJ. If DJ went like birdie, or I guess the the 16th is a eagleable, but if he likes eagle there, that's a completely different tournament. And then they were. I don't think they showed DJ play number 17, which I found very odd. They were very focused on Morikawa. They crowned him the champion when there were still guys on the course, which I seemed like a risky bit of, playing with fire a little bit. Obviously the odds were heavily in his favor, but like we didn't know what DJ was going on. I'm at home trying to write like the recap articles, trying to figure out what DJ's at. Did he win by 1 shot, 2 shots? And like I can't find what score DJ was at because the leaderboard wasn't working. They weren't showing DJ, so it was a bit hectic there. I guess once the guys in the clubhouse, or maybe production knew that DJ had no chance of catching him. But like for a viewer at home, I kind of want to see, don't just start crowning guys champions until we actually know they're a champion. It was a little bizarre finish to that tournament from like a results perspective.
Until it is mathematically over. DJ actually was the guy they showed the most shots of, 57 shots on Sunday. Scotty Scheffler, actually 55 was next. Bryson at 54, Morikawa at 52. Brooks Koepka, 17 shots. I guess that was like his first couple of holes and that was it. And then once he was out of it, we never saw him again.
Cut from the coverage.
Yeah, I think we saw him tap in on 18 and that might have been it.
So again, this is me, a personal bias of mine, because I want to see guys. There was so much narrative about guys at -6 who had a chance to make a run, right? Like we were talking about Rose, Day, Berger, Fleetwood. They go to the first hole. They show Berger make a par putt. I think he made like a lengthy par putt, and all that was said about Fleetwood is, "There's Daniel Berger. He's playing with Tommy Fleetwood today." While Fleetwood was lining up a 13-footer for birdie. Like it could have been, obviously it wasn't, but it could have been his first birdie of, 3 straight and put him right in contention. But like, I think they showed 2 shots of Fleetwood's. He obviously, again, played terrible. But the first hole is like, this is a chance for him to get within 2 shots of the lead, like right away. Maybe show the chance of him doing that instead of just saying, yeah, he's playing with Tommy Fleetwood today. I wanted to see it.
Tommy Fleetwood, 2 shots, which is the same number as Denny McCarthy and Mike Lorenzo Vera, and also
slap in the face to the top 15 player in the world.
And 3 shots of Daniel Berger, which I thought was interesting because they were obviously in that same group. The other thing
just before, like, to see what is it? Morikawa was 52 shots.
Yes,
it's kind of crazy that you don't see every shot of the guy who wins the tournament. I don't know. It's impossible, but
we didn't see. I mean, so I don't know how many shots DJ took, 70 whatever, but we did not see more than like 75% of any golfer's shots. So it's not like there's any golfer that we saw every shot for, which I don't know. Like, is that crazy? Shouldn't we see every shot? Or I guess maybe you have to see the tap-ins, but that could, like, I don't know.
I don't. And sorry,
No.
this is another thing. How many tap-ins did we see, or how many 3-footers for par did we see? I whenever they cut to those, I honestly just think they're gonna miss them because like it seems very routine. They could have just said, Matthew Wolff. I guess they were showing a lot of Matthew Wolff's missed tap-ins, but I figure like a lot of those putts are you just say, yeah, and Morikawa cleaned up his par on 8, and here's his tee shot on 9. Instead, they show the putt on 8 and not the tee shot on 9. It just seems a little backwards. They love showing putts. Putts are like very boring to me.
But putts are easy to cover. Putts are easy to cover because that's where the cameras are. That's.
But there's cameras on the tees. I mean, I get it, and it's like it's the solidifier of that hole. But I don't need to see 2-foot tap-ins all the time.
I don't know why. I thought we used to see a lot more split screens during the coverage where okay,
bring those back.
Where okay, two guys are putting at the same time, or I would rather when it is a 2-foot tap in or a 3-foot tap in, throw it in the bottom right, real small. Give me whatever shot you're about to show next in the split screen, and when he taps that in, drop it out and go to the full screen.
Especially on a Sunday when there's 7 guys sharing the lead. Like there's so much going on with all those leaders. You could definitely start mixing in split screens, but I don't think I saw a split screen once. I think that might be more of a NBC thing. Hopefully they bring that in for the US Open. It'll be interesting to see if they want to improve on their shots per minute. I love this new metric, shots per minute. I'm going to be timing it myself.
Yeah, shots per minute. Let's see if we can get over 2 in a golf tournament.
Just sit there for a minute when you're watching coverage, and if you only see one guy's half swing like that, you've seen nothing. That's not a lot of shots per minute.
It's really not. The other thing that came out of the coverage was this golf week. I don't even want to call it an article. It's an opinion piece from Craig Dulk. I don't know how he pronounces it, but Craig is not a fan, Pat, of the F-bomb. And he is not a fan of Justin Thomas's F-bomb, calling those outbursts, quote, becoming too much. Let me say this, Craig. Get a life, bro. Okay? Who cares? Who cares?
This is the old man yells at cloud gif from The Simpsons. I didn't even read that. Laughable comment. I love when the commentators have to apologize for, oops, sorry about that one,
they
folks.
Should never apologize.
That brings just a big grin to my face. It's just a human reaction. These guys are swearing. Every sport, every athlete is dropping F-bombs no matter what they're playing. It happens.
Have you ever heard an NBA game? That is X-rated commentary from those guys, and I love it. I'd play a pay-per-view for that. But get over yourself, Craig. And the Scott Van Pelt handles this great, where he was on there, and I don't know, somebody said something, and he's like, "Well, if you've ever played the game of golf, you know exactly what he's talking about." And I'm like, "Yes, exactly."
Yeah, I truthfully didn't get the ESPN broadcast, but from what I hear and what I illegally streamed for a brief moment, it was night and day better. It just was more entertaining. Those commentators were having a ton of fun. They were laughing, they were making jokes, poking fun at each other, casually calling golf, as opposed to the cookie cutter stuff we get from a little the CBS and the NBCs of the world. I'm not a broadcast expert, but I was more entertained by ESPN than I was by the CBS crew. If you want to talk about Phil in the booth, we can also jump on that topic.
Yeah, that was something too. We'll talk about Phil. There was the ESPN stuff. I think was great. I think that they have the easier side of it, which is when you don't have a storyline to put a capper on. When you don't have to crown a champion, it is very easy to just show a bunch of shots from random people, which they did, which is great for us. And I do think, and Scott Van Pelt told us what the plan was before the week started. He said, my goal is to say as little as possible. I don't want to say anything. I just want to watch golf shots. And that's exactly what they did, and they bought into it, and I thought it was really well done. The converse is they don't have to play the storyline game. They don't have to crown anybody. They don't have to follow these specific golfers. So it's the easier side, but I thought they did an excellent job. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, we get the feature group coverage up here. It standard feature group stuff. But yeah, you're right about the storyline at the end and trying to piece it all together where ESPN, they can just fire off shot after shot after shot. But yeah, it was a little bit of both worlds. And then I'll guess I'll fire up the Mickelson takes. I was actually talking to a buddy from work about this. I don't remember a single thing Nick Faldo added to the commentary until Mickelson showed up, and they got kind of were jabbing back and forth. But when Mickelson was in there, maybe it was the fact that it was new and it was exciting. But like I was tuned in to what he was offering from from a analytic side of it. I guess they obviously benefited from playing the course, but like when he was talking about how Tong Lee's chip, like he was saying, like you see that light grass that's into the grain or whatever it was in the dark. So he's got his like into the grain chip. He's just going to play this like a low skipper into the green, and it's like that type of stuff just makes that shot so much more interesting than just anything that Faldo I think could ever.
So Phil is awesome in general. So he was obviously awesome in the booth, but you nailed it, Eric. There is no other sport that you can get a competitor who just played on the same playing surface in the same field of competition as the guys we're watching right now and come and provide insight to it. That doesn't happen. We're not taking NBA players off the court and having them talk about the game that they were just playing in. Like that is a rare opportunity in golf that I think could be very interesting. And I don't know how they do it, right? Because guys you kind of have to be out of contention or you have to miss the cut. But like, wouldn't you love to hear some more of these guys come from playing the course, whether they went out early or they missed the cut, hang around for a day, maybe on Saturday you do a little bit of coverage. I don't know how it would work, but it is a rare opportunity to get this level of insight that I thought was awesome.
It's tough because a lot of these guys are probably not born to be in the booth or born for a microphone in front of their face. Like there's going to be a very select few of those guys, and Mickelson's probably the top dog in that regard. Spieth actually provided a nice little nugget in his post-round interview, just saying like, this course is gettable on the back nine. Look for someone to go out and try and maybe shoot 30. And like as soon as I heard that, I was like, I'm going to start looking for this because if Spieth just played it, said that you can make runs, you can make eagles or whatever, and then Morikawa went out and shot 31. So he set the table a little bit, which I thought was cool. Even just anything for us to give, to get us excited or to give us a little bit of insight as to how it might play or expectations for the rest of the day. I think any sort of that type of stuff can help make the viewing experience better. But yeah, like Mickelson definitely benefited from having just played the course. But I think he did me and along with everyone else in the world, I thought he did a fantastic job and just very entertaining. And one day maybe Mickelson will be, everyone was comparing him to Tony Romo. And I think Mickelson was trying to beat Tony Romo because he was trying to call some shots, trying to call like, how Tong's going to go out and make a birdie on the next hole. And then I think he put it in the rough, probably made bogey. But like, yeah, Mickelson was like, I should probably step away from making predictions out here because I'm making myself look like an idiot.
Romo's much better at calling play. I was going to say we might see more Romo in the booth, but I guess the NFL is rolling on. It's college football that is in the midst of it right now. And like every time I refresh Twitter, another conference has said we're not playing this year. So we might have an influx of new commentators to other sports in the next few months.
Again, another reason why I consider myself lucky that we cover golf. Imagine being like a college football reporter right now. Is just brutal news.
I mean, I've got a lot of buddies in the industry, like in the ticketing side, that like I don't know what's gonna happen, man. Especially with, like no fans was already bad enough. No sports is not good. So I don't know what I imagine. Are they coming out and I don't know if you've been following this. Like I think they're gonna say it's postponed instead of canceled, right? Where they're gonna try to play it in the spring or something.
From what I've read, it just seems like they're trying to push it back to the spring, which makes sense. Yeah, we saw this in golf too. Like people don't want to drop the cancel word. That's a pretty definitive statement. So postpone for as long as you can and hope things get better in the near future.
It would probably be a pretty tough sell though to say let's postpone to spring 2021 and also play in fall of 2021 and we care about player safety. That's probably those two statements probably don't go together well. So they're going to have some
for not caring about the players too much.
Yeah, there's going to be a PR nightmare to be had if that happens, I think. Wyndham Championship. this week, the Webb Simpson Open. This was kind of the natural resting point. Final event of the PGA Tour regular season. Playoffs starting next week. So we got a couple of guys here. Webb's here, Brooks is here, Patrick Reed is here. But this is the 1 week a year, Eric, the 1 week a year where that little red, green, yellow FedEx Cup ranking that we have seen all year long actually matters, because I hate seeing that. They show that at like Safeway and I'm like, come on, we're like 9 months away from this mattering. Now it actually does. So this is actually the fun part of it.
I mean, I'm more interested in the Wyndham rewards race. The top 10 bonus points. Come on. I know JT's already locked up the $2 million bonus. Wyndham cannot be happy that their $2 million purse has already been distributed. And the number one guy doesn't even need to show up. They are not getting their money's worth for this sponsorship and probably should bow out ASAP. But finally we understand what a FedEx Cup point means what it is in quantity to someone else. Like, I don't know, what 100 FedEx Cup points. I don't know if that's a lot or a little, but but it's fun to track the 125 bubble and see who, because there's always that one bubble guy, and I think last year was like Richie Rowinski, so obviously a winner now, but it is fun to track that. No, I also liked it from the fact that these guys are battling for tour cards. It's unfortunate that this season they're not really losing their status. They're just going to get reshuffled a little bit, but another fun storyline that it comes to an end this week.
Charles Schwartzel currently in the 125 spot. Bronson Burgoon in the 126 spot. So that
124.
124 is Russell Knox.
Is Knox playing?
I don't know.
I've been looking over the field list a lot. I'm assuming he would.
I'm assuming if you're anywhere within like these 10 spots in either direction and you are eligible to play, you are playing, I imagine.
I mean, I'm cruising through the list, right? Oh yeah, Knoxie's in the field. He's not missing the playoffs. Come on. That was
Sergio Garcia on the wrong side. He's 134th. Zach Johnson, 129th. He could have gotten himself in with a better he missed the cut last week.
Yeah, that was a tough scene. Him and Martin Keimer ejected super hard. You expected those guys not to last too long.
There's going to be some, and every shot matters, right? That's what we always see. Someone will roll in a birdie late. That'll get them in. It'll be a lot of fun. Who do you like this week? I mean, it's the Webb Simpson Open. He's absolutely dominated this, but
yeah. I'm not going to go out and say obviously Webb's Webb. He's a bunch of, I'm sure this has been said on every podcast, every preview show, it's going to be on the broadcast. Webb's daughter is named Wyndham.
That's correct.
If you don't listen to any other shows, if you don't watch a second of the broadcast, that's what you've learned this week. Or
there's always the one thing that they say about every player, which is usually the number one item on PGA Tour, like on their player profile, like whatever that first interesting tidbit is. Who was the guy who proposed to his girlfriend at Harbor Town?
Oh, I don't know that one. That's a good question.
So when we were at Harbor Town, every time they showed a shot, they mentioned the fact that he proposed to his girlfriend on the 18th green. And I remember that. There's one thing about all of these guys. Brendan Todd, that's the full swing yips. We know he's come back from that. I mean, there's just like something specific about all of these guys. And the Webb one you're going to hear 50,000 times is that he named his daughter Wyndham. Yeah.
Yeah. So I obviously a favorite. I'm for some reason I'm getting drawn towards Justin Rose, and maybe it's because he played solid last week. A lot of it was putting, but he rebounded pretty well with his approach game. But like Stenson's one here, Sergio's one here, and for me personally, I just gotta group those three in as like the same kind of guy. They're all like 40-year-old Europeans who have been on a number of Ryder Cup teams with one major apiece. So it's like those are like the same dudes. And I figure, I mean, if Rose wants to keep up with Sergio and Stenson, he's got to take down a Wyndham.
Would you like to make Justin Rose your official pick for this week?
Yeah, I guess we haven't done this in a while, but I'll take Rose. Yeah.
Yeah, and I got to go back and find my other notebook and see where we're at and add them all up. All right, so you'll take Rosie. I'm gonna take Brendan Todd, the Todd father.
Todd, man. I did this 2 weeks ago at the FedEx. It's a tough roller coaster.
I actually think this might be one of the better spots for him all year.
He's allergic to 3 wins. He's had an opportunity a few times. He's not going to get the 3 wins.
Well, I mean, who's got 3 wins? JT's got 3. That's it.
Morikawa could get there, but like I get now the player of the year conversations between Morikawa and JT.
Okay, so who is it? Right now, if we're voting right now,
JT.
Why?
Just 3 wins compared to 2.
Do you care that his 3 wins are all small field no cut events? So he won FedEx St. Jude, he won the Tournament of Champions. Does that count? And he won CJ Cup.
Holy smokes, the CJ Cup. That was what, 2017?
That was 30 years ago he won the CJ Cup.
You're stumping me there. Like last year they proved that majors don't matter as much.
But what if there's only one major?
Wow, the FedEx Cup is a major. They're just going to give it to whoever wins the FedEx Cup, I think.
Okay, remember? Okay, so if the FedEx Cup started right now.
Go ahead.
So JT would start -10, right? Morikawa would start -8. That would be great. And then I think it goes -7 for Webb, -6 for Bryson. Sungjae, who needs the strokes right now, would be, I think, 5 under. And then, like, I forget how they do it. A couple guys are 4. He's 9th.
Oh, so if he wins this week, he'll be like 2.
If he wins this week, he'll get what, 500 FedEx Cup points. So he'll have 1,800. He'll be basically 3rd, depending on what Webb does.
Then he has to hold that spot through the next 2 playoff events as well. And like those points are worth a lot more, right?
Yeah, the playoffs get jacked up. They're like 4 times as much. Okay,
well. I mean, if Todd is going to reassert himself into the player of the year conversation, he needs to take this one down. I mean, I don't mind it. It just, those 54-hole stumbles at the Travelers WGC, it's, I don't know, maybe it's just a little hitch in his game. I was just going to say, so the PGA Tour, our friends over at their social account, and this isn't personally verified by me. Maybe I should have done this before, but I do trust Ben Coley. He retweeted a tweet from them saying, here are Morikawa's best shots from this season. And none of them were from the PGA Championship. I just found that.
I think it's because that's PGA of America, right? Like, okay,
but it said 27 pro starts. He has 28 because he played in Japan. And then just the fact, like, you can't say these are the best shots of his season and not include any of them from the PGA Championship that just happened. Like, those are so fresh in people's minds. Like, don't ignore them. I just show it just say these are his best shots from the PGA Tour this year.
It's not a good look. So usually when you go to the YouTube or for like the PGA Tour's YouTube and it says the best shots of so-and-so's career or it usually says non-majors next to it because they don't have the rights to show the major stuff, which is crazy. It's crazy.
They have to figure out a way to work that in. Like, it just ignoring them is interesting. But like, figured like Morikawa's best shot this year is 16. Just show that shot. Like, we know what it is.
Just show it 10 times. Those are his 10 best shots. There, I've done the work for you. Eric Patterson.
Give me what we thought we were doing the sleepers.
Oh, Dylan Fratelli.
Okay.
Dylan Fratelli has been awesome from tee to green. He is playing. He's got like back-to-back top 25s until last week. He finished T33. He can win. Dylan Fratelli.
John Deere Classic narrative crossover event. I'm going. I wasn't on this guy for the last few weeks when people were on him, but I'm going to go with Henrik Norlander, the big Swede. Do you know? Have you seen a picture of Norlander before?
Yeah, he's like the blonde kid, right?
He's just like. So, okay. So how old do you think Norlander is?
Oh, God. I don't know. I thought he was like 24.
33. I was stunned. He looks like he's 24. He's got like a baby face, kind of like pudgy, not like just. But he's born in 87. I was stunned.
Dude, I was born in 88, so.
Yeah, he's got you beat.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it's funny. Everyone thinks he's a young up-and-comer or like kind of fresh-faced guy, but yeah. Norlander's a veteran.
Wow. All right, that's pretty good. What do you got going on at the score?
I broke down most of the listeners or viewers will know who Morikawa is, but I had fun yesterday just talking about how quickly he's risen to number 5 in the world, just going through his, some of his my favorite quotes of his about how he's rebounded, that type of stuff, and just how he is probably the next big star in golf. And I don't even think that's recency bias talking. I think there's a lot of people on board with that even before his PGA Championship win. So definitely a fun article I put together yesterday that people can go check out if they want to just kind of relive Morikawa's quick rise to the top, to number 5 in the world, I guess, so far.
There you go. EPAT, thanks for joining me, dude.
Appreciate it.
Eric Patterson of The Score. You can find him on Twitter at EPATGolf. You can find me on Twitter at RickRunGood. This has been 300 Yards to Unknown. Catch you next time.